Welcome to Privacy Trainer's Privacy Definitions. Now, let's continue our alphabetical journey through key privacy terms, focusing on those beginning with the letter S. Safe Harbor. Refer to the EU-US Safe Harbor Agreement, which was a framework for regulating transatlantic exchanges of personal data for commercial purposes between the EU and the US. Sarbanes-Oxley Act, SOX, US law passed in 2002 that mandates higher transparency from publicly held companies, particularly concerning financial reporting and whistleblower protections. Schrems I. Case that led to the invalidation of the EU-US Safe Harbor Agreement due to concerns over US surveillance practices affecting EU citizens' data privacy rights. Schrems II. Follow-up to Schrems I, where the EU's Court of Justice invalidated the EU-US Privacy Shield Agreement, questioning the safety of transferring personal data to the US. Seal programs. Certification programs that allow businesses to display a seal of approval for complying with specific privacy standards and practices. Secondary use. The practice of using collected personal data for purposes other than those for which it was originally collected, without the data subject's consent. Secret key. A cryptographic key used with a symmetric encryption algorithm, kept confidential to ensure data security. Section 208 of the E-Government Act mandates that U.S. government agencies provide clear privacy notices on their websites explaining the data collection and use practices. Sectoral laws. Laws that apply to specific sectors of the economy, detailing required protections for personal data within those sectors. Secure Sockets Layer, SSL, a cryptographic protocol designed to provide secure communication over a computer network. Security policy. A set of rules and practices that regulate how an organization manages and protects sensitive information. Security safeguards. Measures required to protect personal data from loss, unauthorized access, or disclosure as part of the Fair Information Practices. Sedona Conference. Organization providing guidance on best practices in managing electronic records and e-discovery. Self-regulation model. Approach where industries create and enforce their own privacy standards, subject to basic government guidelines. Semaines case. Historical legal case establishing the principle that one's home is private, contributing to modern privacy law and search and seizure protections. Senate, Canadian. Appointive upper house of Canada's Parliament, involved in legislative review and governance, including privacy law considerations. Senior agency official for privacy. Designated leader responsible for overseeing an organization's data privacy policies and compliance at the national or agency-wide level. Sensitive personal information. Data that, due to its nature, has significant privacy implications, such as health, financial, or biometric data. Separate. Strategy of isolating personal data during processing to minimize risk of unauthorized correlation and re-identification. Single-factor authentication. Basic security process that requires only one method of verification of the user's identity to gain system access. Single sign-on, SSO, authentication process that allows a user to access multiple applications with one set of login credentials. 6 major European Union institutions. The key EU bodies responsible for legislation, administration, and judicial review within the EU. Smart grid. Enhanced electrical grid using digital communications technology to detect and react to local changes in usage. Social engineering. Tactics that manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes. Software Requirement Specification, SRS. A document that fully defines what the software will do and how it will be expected to perform. Spam. Unsolicited commercial email often sent in bulk and without the recipient's permission. Spear phishing. Highly targeted form of phishing that involves bespoke emails designed to fool specifically targeted individuals into divulging confidential information. Special categories of data. Under GDPR, personal data revealing racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, religious beliefs, or data concerning health, which require higher protection. Speech recognition. Technology that can identify and interpret spoken language, converting it into text. SQL injection. A type of cyber attack that uses malicious SQL code for back-end database manipulation to access information that was not intended to be displayed. Stakeholders. Key individuals within an organization who are responsible for managing and safeguarding privacy-related processes and data. Standard model clauses. Contractual clauses used in agreements to ensure that data transferred outside the EU is still protected in compliance with European data protection standards. Standardized icons. Symbols used in data protection and privacy to convey specific privacy-related information visually and succinctly. Storage encryption. Encryption of data at rest, ensuring that stored data is inaccessible without proper authorization. Storage limitation. Principle that data should not be retained for longer than necessary for the purposes for which it is processed, with exceptions for archiving in the public interest. Stored Communications Act, SCA, part of the Electronic Communications Privacy Act that protects stored electronic communications from unauthorized surveillance. Strategic management. The process of defining an organization's strategy, or direction, and making decisions on allocating resources to pursue this strategy, including data privacy strategies. Structured Query Language, SQL, programming language designed for managing data held in a relational database management system. Subjective harm. Perceived damage or distress experienced by an individual due to privacy violations, even if no objective harm is evident. Subpoena. Legal document ordering someone to court to testify or produce evidence within their control. Substance testing. The act of checking for drug use, typically in an employment context to ensure workplace safety and compliance with law. Substitute notice. A method used to notify a large group of affected individuals about a data breach, especially when individual notices are impractical or costly. Supercookie. A type of cookie that is designed to be permanently stored on a user's device and reinstalled if deleted. Supervisory authority. The public authority in an EU member state responsible for monitoring the application of the GDPR, ensuring compliance across sectors. Supply-side platform, SSP, a technology platform that enables publishers to manage their advertising impression inventory and maximize revenue from digital media. Surveillance. Monitoring of behavior, activities, or information for the purpose of information gathering, influencing, managing, or directing. Surveillance collection. The collection of data by observing or monitoring activities without engaging with or altering the data subject's behavior. Sustain. Phase in the privacy operational lifecycle focusing on maintaining ongoing privacy practices through continuous improvement and regular assessments. Symmetric key encryption. Encryption method where the same key is used for both encryption and decryption, enhancing data security but requiring secure key management. Syndicated content. Content sourced from third parties and published on different platforms, which can pose security risks if not properly managed. System of Records Notice, SORN, a public notice regarding the existence and character of a system of records maintained by a federal agency, as required under the Privacy Act. Systems Development Lifecycle, SDLC, a methodology for designing, creating, testing, and deploying an information system with considerations for privacy and security integrated throughout the process.